This week I'm helping you satisfy your Christmas cookie cravings with a low carb option that you can give as a gift or keep all to yourself. Plus today you'll meet a super sweet lady who helps women transform their lives. Jo Robertson, transformation coach, is in the studio talking about being stuck in a rut, what to do to get unstuck, and how to prepare yourself for the best year yet. Get ready. It's Easy Living with Monique Bradley. Oh no, my heart and my welcome to my kitchen. If we haven't met before, I'm Monique Bradley. Welcome to my place. I'm here at the YourFixTV studios. And boy, oh boy, we have a sweet show for you guys today, because today is all about Christmas cookies and how to find that sweet spot in your life. So 2018 is totally kick ass. That's what I'm all about. I am ready for my best year yet. Are you guys ready for your best year? If so, let me know in the newsfeed, and I'll be speaking with transformation expert Jo Robertson later on in today's show to help you get some tips on how to activate yourself, pull yourself out of that rut, and achieve all those amazing goals you want to achieve for next year. So to start with, I thought I'd start with a really cool low-carb Christmas cookie. Before I do, taking a look at the newsfeed. Good morning, Jonathan Penrose, who's just said cookies, coffee, and conversation, all the C's. Do you know how hard it is to say all those words, Jonathan? Kia ora to you. Welcome to today's show. Pritesh Chandra, Sandy Brewer down in Wellington. Congratulations with Rock of Ages, by the way. Awesome work. Andrew Atherton, Barvik Vyas, Ricardo Simic. Great to see your post about that gorgeous artwork on Facebook. Totally in awe of that artwork. Totally deserved. And good morning to everybody else who I haven't managed to say hello to. Great to have you guys on board. Now, I have great memories of Christmas as a kid. We had wonderful friends who were from Germany, from Munich actually, and every year their family would send us from Germany these amazing cookies called Leberkuchen. I hope I said that correctly. Kind of a spicy, slightly doughy, spongy, kind of round biscuity cookie, and they would come in this gorgeous tin. And I thought to myself, that was one of my favorite memories of Christmas, was lovely sweet treats like that. Now, the Dutch, I believe, have a Christmas cookie called Speculaas. And when I was doing my research about them, because that's my favorite flavor, you know, all those wonderful spices and slightly sugary, a little bit of cinnamon, mixed spice. It evokes everything that I love about Christmas, which is warmth, bringing people together, having a cup of tea and a biscuit with your family. It's everything that I love and my fondest memories. So I thought, can I create a low-carb version of my favorite cookie and give you guys enough freedom to be able to make it your own? So I've been doing research over the last few weeks, and here's what I came up with. The first ingredient, which is the base with low carb cooking, is of course almond meal. This is loaded with protein and good fats that serve your body. And the great thing is, and I've got a cup of almond meal here, the great thing is when you pop that into your recipe, because it is quite high in fat, you don't need as many as you would with a cookie that's made from flour. So if you're like me and you love the good old Super Wine or the Girl Guide biscuits, but you know, they're not great for your body. They're nice as a little treat, but not great for you. These cookies, you'll need only one with a cup of tea and you'll feel incredibly satisfied. Now into that, so if we think about bases, you've got your floury kind of base. We're going to add in here a fat. Now I've made butter this morning because I prefer to make my own. Then I know what's actually in here, and at the same time, it's so much cheaper to make your own butter from cream and salt than it is to buy it right now in the supermarket. So this is pretty much as fresh as you can get. And I'm actually just using my fingers here, my kitchen, my rules. I'm going to put 3 big tablespoons in here of butter. Now, you can try making this if you'd prefer to use, say, coconut oil. You can give it a whirl, because after today, this recipe is yours. I'm giving it to you. Now, you know I'm being quite generous. And the reason I'm being generous with my fat is okay for us people. We need to remember that. Fat is good. All good fats are good. I'm going to eat this. So good. And also at the same time, if you want a cookie, here's a great tip. If you want a cookie that is, you know, those delicious Mrs. Higgins cookies, which are really caramelly, they come out quite flat. And the reason they do is they've got lots of extra sugar in there and lots of extra butter. So if you're making a cookie that is a bit crumbly or a little bit, it hasn't come out there with that ooey gooey caramel kind of flavor, chances are you haven't used enough butter. So with this recipe, just think about the texture, and if you need to increase your fat, it's up to you. This recipe is yours. The next thing I'm going to add into here is my sweetness. Now today I'm using Natvia, not paid to tell you this, by the way. Love the product. This is fantastic for baking. For me, I don't really like super sweet things. I like things with flavor. You can replace the sugar content here for about the same amount of coconut sugar, and it will give this recipe an absolutely gorgeous caramelly twist to the recipe as well. So remember, you've got your floury base. We've used almond flour. We've got a fat in there. We're putting in 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of sweetness. That's all you need with that. And then we've got to think about those flavors. So the German cookies and the Dutch cookies all have, those warming spices, which, is perfect for a colder climate at this time of the year. I'm going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla essence into the mix. Now you can mix it up. You can think about, if you're real fancy, and you're not as lazy as I am, you can think about grinding up a vanilla pod and adding that in there, which will give it, such a hearty, tasty flavour. And the other thing I'm going to add is I went to my local Chinese supermarket and I got from the Spice and Easy range. You can see it here. This is mixed spice. So you've got in here, what have we got? On the side, we've got, it just says be careful, there could be tree nuts. So it's all those beautiful spices of cinnamon and cardamom and all those lovely flavours that you might put on the top of an eggnog, or you might have in a fruit cake. And I'm going to put in, because this is quite potent, but this big container was only $2.49 and it's such a beautiful fresh product. Here, probably just over half a teaspoon in there. So that's your flavour. So remember, it's about having a base in there that's floury, or an equivalent. And the smell that's just come out of the mixer is insane. You need your fat. You don't need any other liquid in here, because this is more like a butter cookie. And you've got your flavors in there as well. And it's that simple, plus a little bit of sweetness. So I am notoriously lazy in the kitchen. So I always use a mixer. You can't really overmix this recipe as well, so it's pretty forgiving. And because my butter is so fresh, this is going to mix up really beautifully, and it will be really crumbly at first, but that biscuit base will start to form together as a ball. And I don't know how much you can see down into the mixer, but it's already starting to mix up. And then I'm just going to work it a tiny bit with my hands. That's looking good. Going to give it a good old thorough whipping. Hello, Romana Locke, good to see you. Peter Lardu, Pete Ward is also watching, which is good because he's actually producing the show. Joanna Vincent, lovely to see you guys this morning. Okay, so if we have a look in here, here's what you want to do to gauge your mixture. If you have a look in the bowl now, it's very crumbly. Now that is cool, but I want mine slightly more buttery, I've decided. So again, what do? Add in probably another half teaspoon of butter, or half tablespoon, I'm sorry. And I just want that to stick together a little bit more and mix that through. So there you go, super easy. Oh yeah, that's great. Excellent. So again, I'm not worried about over mixing this, because it is a really forgiving recipe. Oh, that's looking great. Now, as you look in the bottom, you'll see it's starting to look a bit like popcorn chicken. So that means that butter is starting to hold all of the ingredients together. And there's my dough forming now. There you go. So the reason why you want to mix it up with, see, look at that. There's your dough. Fantastic. The reason why you want to mix it up and judge how much butter to put in there is that, there's so many different almond meals on the market, or if you're working with normal flour as an example, or you might want to even try this with coconut flour, you've got to judge the behavior of the recipe. Not so much it's not about being precise. This is more about a dance with a lover. That's the way I see baking. And so if you guys didn't know, by the way, I actually grew up in a kitchen. So my mum is a cooking teacher, in Wellington, cooking and sewing teacher. Shout out to Brandon, Intermediate in Porirua. Awesome to have, you know, you guys and your families who pop in, or your families popping in to watch the show. So everything I learnt was from my mum when it comes to baking. From basically when I was about 6, I used to stand in the kitchen every week and pretend to be Alison Holst and host my own cooking show. And here I am some years later, and I'm actually coming up with my own recipes, and I finally have this freedom to do something that I'm truly passionate about, which is making food that, interestingly enough, even though this is a treat, it still serves your health. So there's loads of health benefits. Well, that's what I like to tell myself. Loads of health benefits to eating something that's made from almond meal. So almond meal is loaded with fiber, so it's going to help your digestive tract. However, if your digestive tract or your gut is a little bit sensitive, you just want to go a little bit easy, tiger. You just want to do a little bit at a time. And at least still, what I love, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is at least I don't feel like I'm missing out anymore. So when I discovered that I was carbohydrate insensitive a few months ago, see, just rolling it into a ball, pressing it down. Simple Christmas cookie. When I discovered I was carb intolerant earlier in the year, which was the first thing that made sense over my weight loss journey of about 25 years, you know, learning that there were so many things I couldn't eat wasn't in fact limiting. All of a sudden, I would get up each day and go, wow, what is it I'm going to try today? It actually kind of opened a door for me, and it changed my whole attitude towards food. It meant that all of a sudden I got more creative, and I was inspired to do my research, to get into the kitchen, to eat more vegetables, which is always a good thing, and to really learn about not so much what I couldn't have, but what put my body into an optimal state of health. And that's really what I want to share, I guess, with these recipes, is that you can essentially have your cake and eat it too. And that is what I want people to understand. It's about moderation. Well, it's about everything. It's about a little bit of everything. But if you can't have something, don't put it on the I'm never going to have it again list. When one door closes, go in through the window, if you know what I'm saying. It's not about saying no for the rest of your life. It's about finding the things so you never feel like you're on a diet or an eating plan ever again. So there you go, super easy. What can you add into it? Look, if you lessen your sugar, you can actually add in there maybe some dried fruit. But remember, dried fruit's really high carb, so you would want to go with something like a goji berry in here. Would be so delicious. You could even press an almond onto the top, and that would be really nice. It would kind of make it look a little fancy. And when it cooks, you know, you've got that lovely almondy nugget on the top too. But this really is super, super easy. Good morning, Rachel Thompson. Lovely to see you. Mel Harker. Durga Prasad. Lovely to see you. Kia ora, Joe Timoringa. Lovely to see you as well, watching from Wellington. Michael Yang. Diane Dillner. Now, are you over in Australia, Diane? I tell you what, nice to see you on today's stream as well. So there you go. That is my super easy twist on a traditional Christmas cookie loaded with spices. And I can tell you from experience, because I have tried the recipe for, you know, research purposes, when you make these, it is perfect to have one with a cup of tea. That's all you need. It gives you that sweet hit, and because it's loaded with good fats in there as well, you don't need to eat a lot of them to feel satisfied. And look at that, there's all my cookies made while I was talking to you guys and saying hello. How easy is that? So, what would I do? I mean, that is just cute. You pop them in the oven around 180 to 200 degrees, fan bake for around 10 minutes. So I find anything with almond meal tends to cook pretty fast. It's a really interesting experience. And then basically you want to get them out of the oven once they're solid. So you'll know when they're ready. You'll be able to see it. The edges will start to brown slightly. And then what would I do with them? Because those will go. Well, number one, I would have one with a cup of tea. Here's some I prepared earlier. Let me just test them, just to make sure. I'll get that little one in the middle there. This is a bit I love about my job, is all the testing. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh it's great. So they're quite dry biscuits, but you get this wonderful flavour of those spices coming through. That is really good. So it's best served with tea, if you're a tea fan. Seriously, I shouldn't be eating in front of you guys, but I can't help myself. Or, if you're like me, and you like to give the gift of baking because you're a domestic goddess much like myself, this is a really cool gift for somebody for Christmas. So what I've done is I've put a whole bunch of the cookies inside here. The flavour is so good with those spices. I've put them inside one of these jars. You can find an old jar, look, you can tie it up with, you know, string and wildflowers and make it look pretty. This was a gift given to me by Ray McVinney, who is incredible at finding things at the second-hand shop. So he found this and brought it to me because he knows how much I love tea. You pop it on there with a really great cup or a plain cup, or get the kids to do some artwork on there, and you pop a pack of tea in here. And that, all wrapped up, is a beautiful Christmas present. It doesn't cost a lot of money, so it's really cost effective, and it's so thoughtful. And really, isn't this season all about the thoughts behind the gifts? Well, that's what it is for me. So that's a recipe from me to you guys. Try it out. Make up some variations of your own. Remember, it's all about your floury base, whether you're using flour or an almond meal or a coconut flour. It's about the fat, it's about the sweetness and the spices. That recipe is now yours, my friend. All right, if you've got a great product that you would love seeing demonstrated on the show, excuse me, I'm spitting cookie everywhere. If you'd love to have your product demonstrated on the show for 2018, all you need to do is send us an email info@yourfix.tv, and we're more than happy to showcase your beautiful products here in our studio. We love testing them and coming up with great new recipes that will serve people's health. That's what I'm really focused on here with the show. Now, before we cut to a great video from my lovely friend Caroline Sanford, who is a career expert, I want to do a big shout out for New Year's Eve. If you are home alone on New Year's Eve, we've got community notice board right now. New Year's Eve, I'm going to be at Meccano here in Auckland, a great restaurant. I'm going to be at a masquerade ball, and you know what, guys? I'd love you to come and join me. I'm going to be doing a live stream from Meccano. I'm so excited about it. Pete and I will both be there, and we're going to be talking about fashion. We're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions, and if you've got family around the world, it's your chance to reach out and say hello to them via the medium of live streaming. So if you want to join us, there's tickets available, eventfinder.co.nz. It is the red carpet ball. Come dressed to impress and join us for an amazing evening. All right, it is time to introduce you to my lovely friend Caroline Sanford. She's been featured on the show before. She's a woman who makes great changes in people's lives by helping them find their vocation, their values, their purpose, and then turning that into a career they absolutely love. She's got a little bit of wisdom to share, and when she came to our video, we decided to capture that to share with you guys. Let's take a look at the video right now.
Hi, my name's Caroline. I am a career specialist. I have a company called Love Your Career, and it helps people at any age and stage of their career journey, helping them to create the future that they want. I suppose, you know, along my journey, it's been up and down and roundabout, as everybody's is. One thing that I think has taken me a while to learn, but I stand behind this, and this is what I really advocate for anyone I work with, is being yourself, or getting back to the core of who you are, being authentic. You know, I spent my life looking after other people's needs, you know, because that's who I am, and you know, that's where I get my joy. But sometimes you lose yourself in that, and when you're looking after everybody else's wants and needs, you forget about what you need. And realising that who you are, just the way you are, is perfect. And so I really want to encourage everybody, you know, to just really think about what they want, who they are, and just know not everybody will celebrate who you are, but that's okay. It's just as long as you are happy with you, and just stick to that. Back yourself every step of the way and be you, because you know you're the only one who is you. Cheers.
Well, today is all about finding that sweet spot in life, whether it's my Christmas cookie recipe or talking to experts like Caroline Sanford, shout out to you, who was just on with that video, or lovely Jo Robertson, who is in the studio today. Kia ora, Jo.
Kia ora.
I'm so excited to have you here. We've had you in the studio over the last week creating amazing video content with you to help share your message. But first of all, do you want to tell everybody what it is you do?
Yes, sure. I'm Jo Robertson, transformation coach, and I work with women that are stuck. And they are ready now to be moving forward.
Yeah.
So I help them to find out what it is that they really want. Together we dig down deep and find those skills and qualities that will help them to make that change and contribute to something new.
That's
and
cool.
I help them to re-spark and get moving on their pathway again.
Now re-spark, that's a real interesting one for me, because I know there's so many people, particularly at this time of year, they do feel stuck. But if somebody's not sure, if they're just having a down day, how do you know if you actually need to speak to somebody because they just don't know what to do? When should somebody approach you if they're feeling like that? What are the signs of being stuck?
Yes. Well, the signs of being stuck, I often liken it to being in a forest and being stuck in trees, and you've got 5 pathways in front of you and you're trying to think of which pathway shall I go down, and so you go down one and then you lose your confidence or you're not sure and you come back to the start and you think about another one, and you're thinking again, but you cannot make that decision, so you stay stuck, and it becomes a really overwhelming feeling of an overwhelm of just wanting to make that move, but for some reason you can't move forward down one of those pathways.
Wow, that's a really good analogy. Now I'm going to have a look at the news feed right now. Rachel Thompson said, hi, Jo.
Hi, Rachel.
Lots of people saying, oh, hi, Mary Haddock Stanaland, Mario Ramiro watching us from Australia today. Jenny Green said the cookies are looking yum. Thank you so much. Today is about finding that sweet spot in your life, and that's why I thought Jo is a great person to come on board with today's show, because she does help women and men, or just women?
Mainly women, yeah.
Find that sweetness in their lives as well. Now, if you've got any questions or comments about anything going on in your life, Jo is the expert to talk to. So we've got her on camera for the next sort of 10, 15 minutes, and you've got the chance to ask her questions directly. So feel free to message us. And I know Romana Locke has just said, would have loved to attend the New Year's masquerade ball. Unfortunately, babysitters with 3 kids are hard to come by, especially on New Year's. Our first New Year's in Auckland for a long time. I think it's going to be a quiet one at home. So if somebody is at home on New Year's, what would be your suggestion to celebrate? What's important?
My suggestion to celebrate on New Year's, if you're on your own, is find that thing that you really love doing, something that really brings you lots of joy, and those people that you really like to spend time with, those positive people that really lift you up, and to make your own fun. Because if you've got those things that you love doing and those people around you that you can do it with, whether it's one to a big group of people, then you can have that fun and enjoyment.
Yeah,
and
so true.
Look around you and see what's around you. You know, we have fireworks in the sky in Auckland, and you can often get...
True. And I know for a fact Romana's got, 3 kids,
Yes.
little to Samuel, who's I think 9, or is he 10 now? And they try to do lots of things together as a family and empower the kids to make really good choices. So I actually think, Romana, you're going to have a great New Year's Eve this year. And if not, watch my live stream. Shame you can't be with us. Okay, so Jo, just getting back to you. You help women who are stuck in their lives and you activate change, or help them find their pathway to change. How did you get into this field?
I got into this field because I went through that same situation of being stuck. I wanted to change my life. I had been working full time. I had 3 children, and it was pretty busy and hectic, as you know, if you work full time with 3 children. And during that time, my mother was diagnosed with an early onset debilitating illness. And it really was just a wake-up call for me to stop and look at my life as it was. And I decided that I wanted to change the way that I was living my life and with what I was doing. And at that point, I worked with a coach for myself, and I was able to make that change and to live a fantastic life I live now. And so I went on to do my coach training, and I'm now a qualified coach, and I'm able to do the same for other women.
So my understanding from our chats about your life, though, is that really you've had a lifetime of coaching. You've been a teacher, you've worked in the educational arena. Was this kind of your calling, or was it just the perfect complement to all of the other years of work you've done with supporting people and helping them find their pathway? What would you say?
It was most definitely my calling. I was working in a role where I was providing professional learning and development for teachers, and that required a lot of mentoring, and of course personal coaching went alongside that when I was working with groups of people for a set of 2 years' time, and so that trust builds up there. And I found that it was a calling to be able to go out and help other women to have the life that they can realise that they can have the life that they really want, and that if they have that feeling that there is more, not to dismiss it, because there is more, and you get one life. It's worth living it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Romana's just said, I used to be a sole charge administrator and not sure if that's what I want to go back to. Oh, she said, I've been on maternity leave for 10 years. Excuse me. Romana, I didn't realise that. She said, I've been thinking about re-entering the workforce. Where do you think would be a good place to start? And then she said, I used to be a sole charge administrator. Not sure if that's what I want to go back to. What would your suggestion be?
Well, Romana, my suggestion would be to really think about your background and the things that you have done that really attract you and that you've really enjoyed. So your skills and qualities, your passions, and those things that you have already done in your past experiences. I have a great activity that I offer on my website for people that are coming along to have a look and to get them started in this way, which is called Map My Vision, and it helps you to create a vision for what it is you're looking for, those key things, a big picture of what it is you want to include in your life. And of course, what you do for your career is very much part of that.
Of course, I want to do that. It just sounds like fun. So they can, so Romana can head to your website, joerobertson.co.nz.
Yes.
We'll share the contact details very shortly with you as well, Romana. Oh, in fact, here's a screenshot of the website there, so you can go there. So where do people go on your website to get that resource?
If you go on to the About Me or Work With Me page, a pop-up will come up, and you'll be able to access that resource.
Excellent, that is so good. Now I just want to say a big shout out and hello, kia ora to Sally Anderson, who is watching today's live stream as well. Sally, mihi kirimiti, I hope I said that right, to you and to Roger as well. Excuse me, I'll just have a sip of water. Excellent. Okay, so important when you're thinking about your future to really, instead of just, like you say, stand in that forest and walk down one pathway or down another, to really think a bit more strategically about your path. So using something like Map My Vision would work really well. Yeah. So if somebody is feeling stuck and they decide, right, it's time to change, something's got to change, what's the first step?
The first step is to really get into a good place, and that's often about thinking about your own well-being, your own resilience, so that you're ready to step off on it from a really strong platform, so that you've got all your ducks in a row and you're feeling really good and strong. You know, change takes courage, and if you're thinking about your well-being, those 4 dimensions, I love the 4 dimensions of Hauora, the physical, spiritual, mental and social, and checking that everything there is in a good place, and also around your resilience, that you've making sure that you've got that bounce back, so that if something goes wrong, you can get back up and keep moving again. So that is my first step, is to really check in with those people that work with me. That is where we really focus first, is how is all that going before we take
launch
off and
into
start
creating
looking
that
the
path.
next part. Yeah.
So it's really about taking that stock take of the tools you have now and the tools you need to develop.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you mean?
That's part of it.
Perfect. Excellent. Now Rachel Thompson, hi Rachel, just said, I've done a clarity session with Jo and can recommend her services. Thank you
Rachel.
so much, Rachel. It's
see you.
fantastic. And Romana's just said, thanks, Joe. I will check that out.
Great.
Excellent, that resource. Okay, so, there's a lot of coaches out there. I appreciate that, you have walked in this position of being stuck. You've gone out, you've been a mentor, and now you're a fully qualified coach. If somebody is working with you, why is working with you going to be a little bit different?
Well, working with me, I've been in this place.
Yeah.
And I know what to expect. I really know what someone's feeling and that feeling of being stuck. And I've developed some really great tools and strategies to help women get unstuck and moving forward on their pathway again. Love it.
Now you make it sound so simple. I can appreciate it's pretty complex, right?
Well, it is. It's simple in that sometimes we just need someone to support us and the confidence and certainty to help us move forward. And so when we start taking action, I really encourage my people that work with me just to take tiny little steps. If it feels scary or if they feel uncertain, just taking that action of tiny little turtle steps, I call them turtle steps, and they start to make progress and build in their confidence.
Yeah.
So it is that easy as starting to take those little actions with someone there to support you and encourage you and help you feel like you're getting along your way.
And I, speaking from experience, I've made massive life changes, losing 40 kilos in weight, shifting cities, I've been married, a whole bunch of big changes. It is overwhelming. It's really scary. And I've had to make big decisions really quickly. But what I take from what you're saying is that even if you make one tiny change a week, after a year, that's 52 changes you've made in your life. Your life will be completely different.
Yes, and it's about making those brave decisions, like you say, and then taking those tiny steps to make it happen.
Got it. Okay, so we're coming up to a really stressful time of the year, to be fair. Yes, it's great to get together with your family. It's wonderful seeing your friends. It's also exhausting and the kids are driving you crazy and you wish they could go back to school. So what are your key steps on how to survive through this, what can be quite challenging festive season? Have you got 3 key tips you can share with people?
Yes, I've got 3 key tips to share with you. The first one is just to really get some calm, some inner calm. And you can do that. First, just breathe. Taking that time to breathe. If you've learned to do deep breathing through yoga or diaphragmatic breathing, if you haven't, then it's a really good skill to learn. But really just stopping during your day and taking those 3 big breaths, magic number 3 to get you started, just to calm you down and get that inner calm.
Gotcha.
So that's a really important thing, is breathing, is learning to do that breathing and just stopping during your day and take a breath and slow yourself down.
Excellent.
The other one is to make yourself some space so that you get that.
What do you mean?
I mean just stopping and taking some time out in whichever way you like to take your time out. And it is a busy time of year and we get rushed and we go from one thing to another, and by the end of the day we can't think straight and we've got so much on our plate we just feel a bit overwhelmed. So just taking that little 5-minute time out, a cup of tea or a walk outside, and just getting that inner calm, getting that breathing. And I really encourage people to schedule that time out into their week, into their day. It's important, and we can actually do so much better if we've just had that little bit of time. I know for myself, if I've had that little bit of time, I can think better, take action.
And apparently our brain does something every 90 minutes. Our brain kind of needs a little bit of a refresh anyway. It kind of shuts down a little just to kind of defrag a little bit and get us ready to move forward again. So I know for me, basically from the time I wake up in the morning till the time I go to sleep, I'm go all day. But having trained as a singer, I've learnt diaphragmatic breathing, and that's the one thing, especially when I'm in overwhelm. Even if I'm driving somewhere in the car and I'm sitting at the lights thinking I've got so much to do, that breath, and that's my own space right there. And finding that space in the moment of the traffic. And sometimes even having really heavy traffic is kind of a blessing because you just have to stop and go, okay, all right.
And you will
calm down.
When you feel that overwhelm, you'll notice your breathing gets quite shallow.
Oh, yes.
So it's a really good way to just slow your whole body down and get that inner peace. Yeah.
As Ray McVinney would say, shanty shanty, which is like just calm down. Yeah. And it works really well. Okay, so those are 2 tips. What's tip number 3?
2 tips. The 3rd tip is really to do more of what you love and bring some joy into your life. And so we're going to have a busy time and a busy week. So doing more of what you love and being present with everything you're doing. If you've got a busy day and you've got a big long list in front of you, just be right in the now and actually enjoying what you're doing and where you are. And when you've done that thing, move on to the next.
Love it. Love it. As a former children's entertainer, I used to educate a lot of early childhood teachers as well. And that's the one thing I'd actually teach them about storytelling, is that kids know, when you're reading them a story, they know if you're thinking about the fact that it's raining outside and you've got your washing on the line because you're not present with them. They know when you're not there because you're thinking about the millions of things you have to do after school. But that's that one moment in time where it's about the child and they need that energy from you. But at the same time, you can get so much joy back from that child just by being present. None of that other stuff matters.
And you're right there. Why is now perfect? You know, it's a really good way to take it. I've got one final really big tip.
Share it.
Well, we can't feel stressed and gratitude at the same time.
Of course.
There's scientific research to prove this. So if you're feeling stressed, then just think about 5 things that you're grateful for. And as soon as you start doing that, you'll just notice yourself unwind. And of course, gratitude brings abundance. When you show gratitude, suddenly you've just got so much more to be grateful. So gratitude is a real biggie for me, and it's something I really encourage.
I love that. I never thought about that. But yes, it's like saying that light and dark can't exist in the same space, right? So if you consciously choose gratitude and joy, all the other stuff kind of melts away.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. But there's science behind it. I love that.
From Dr. Libby. So,
oh, yay. I love that. That is so fantastic. Fiona Malcolm, hello to you. Carl Johnston, lovely to see you. Kevin Hammond. Marcio Molinari, I hope I said that. Giselda Lala watching from Australia. I hope you're well. It's great to see you guys on the stream today, and it's wonderful having you guys with us. If something's resonated with you guys before we finish up today, send a message through because we're live. You're not watching a pre-recorded video, my friends. We are live right now. Stephen Samuel Johnson, good to see you as well. Send your questions in. You've got Joe's brains for a couple more minutes to pick about how to get yourself unstuck, find that sweet spot in your life, and make 2018 your best year yet. So, when you're working with clients, I love all this stuff. What do you do with them?
What I do with them, Monique, is to help them to work out what it is that they really want to do in life. So what is the thing that they really want, and to create a vision of that. And then to create a plan of action to help get them moving forward again, and to start taking that action to create their very best life. So the first part is about imagine. Imagine what it'd be like if you could create that life that you really want. That is the first part that we do.
Awesome.
And then it's about how do we make that happen? So it's creating an action plan, a map, a my action plan to make that happen.
Awesome.
And then it's supporting them to start taking those little steps and taking that action.
Because it's all great to have the dream, but if you don't take those steps, it will always remain that elusive dream, right?
The action is the really important part.
Oh, that's really exciting. So if this has resonated with you today, Rachel Thompson has said, yes, go girls, you're both full of sweetness. Stop it. Takes one to know one, Rachel, you sweet thing. If you are feeling a little bit stuck And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, because Jo can actually work with you over Skype as well, or Zoom.
I use a Zoom conference platform, and it's just like we're sitting in the room looking at each other.
Oh,
so
I like that.
fantastic.
A little bit like we're doing right now. We're chatting with you guys. If that's resonating with you, or if you've decided it's time to really get yourself unstuck, perhaps you've been walking down all the wrong paths, or they kind of haven't gone anywhere in the forest. You've ended up at a few dead ends. Perhaps you're not just feeling vibrant anymore, and that sweetness has kind of disappeared in your life. If so, Jo's a great lady to talk to. She has such a sweet, lovely nature that she will support you through making those big, scary decisions, but turning them into actionable steps that you can actually realistically achieve. And at the end of the day, you know, it's all about the results. It's all about creating that vision and ensuring you get there. But she makes it easy for you, essentially, don't you? By holding their hand.
Yeah, I help you hold your hand and support you to make those changes. And that's the key, that if you could do it by yourself, you will, and that's great. When you're feeling really stuck and uncertain, having that plan and getting started and taking action, building that confidence is key to having your best year yet.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Now, we'll bring up Jo's website details right here. Now, if you are interested in chatting with Jo, there's resources even on her website that you can have a look at. Send her a message through her website. There's the Contact Me button there on the top right-hand side of the website, or you can find her on Facebook, Jo Robertson Life Coach. Just send her a message, and she'd love to chat with you and help you create that action plan to ensure 2018 is the kick-ass best year yet that you no longer have to imagine it's achievable. You know what, Jo, this has been fun. Thank you so much for coming into the studio. I've loved working with you and hearing about your expertise, and I'm really excited to do more video work with you so that you can share it out and inspire people to live their life the way they want it. Their life by design, essentially, right?
It is, living life by design, and I'd love to chat with you.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it is time for us to head away. Now, if you want my recipe, I'm going to load that onto my website later on today. I've got a whole bunch of other recipes on my website. Oh, some of them still need information in there. I've got all sorts of things going on, from Asian-inspired coleslaw through to my beautiful baked cheesecake. Yes, it's low carb, my friends, and it just goes on and does not quit. It is the best cheesecake you've ever had. There's a whole bunch of goodness on that website. Amazing articles, some inspiration in there, and most importantly for you guys who are on a low carb journey with me, loads of recipes that mean you will never ever miss out. Well, it is time to head away. A big thanks to my sponsors, the wonderful people from Kathy Organics for my lovely skin, which is completely transformed. Romina from Argentina for getting rid of my mustache every few weeks. For Fabulevo for my gorgeous heart necklace and earrings I'm wearing today. OBR Merino for the Baker Street dress I'm wearing, and to Evelyn Rose Lashes, Paula, shout out to you for my purdy peepers. And remember too, if you have a great product or you've got a great story to share, you want to inspire, motivate or help people, we do that by asking our audience what they want to learn. So if you've got a great service you want to share, or if you're watching and you've got more questions, send them in. If you want to know how to find the right size jeans that will make you look fabulous, or perhaps you are struggling with something in your life, I've got access to incredible industry professionals that are here to help you every step of the way so that you can turn your life from drab to fab. And remember too, if you want to feature in the show, hit us up, send an email to info@YourFixTV. That is the production company that produces my weekly show, and we are excited to bring that to you and to share your story. But thank you so much for joining us today. It's been awesome to have you guys here. Thanks, Leanne Hollinshead, who's just joined us, and to Ryan Peter Risseau, I hope I said that right. Jonathan Penrose, welcome back again. Robin Andrews just said thanks so much, Jo. Kerry and Graham Barstow just said definitely need to take action. That's right, that's what 2018 is about. 2017 has been a big year of review, particularly right now. 2018, people, as Jacinda Ardern said, though she totally ripped off my line, let's do this. A big thanks to Pete Ward, who is my producer and director behind the camera today. I love you guys. Take care. Keep me posted through my Facebook page on how your Christmas is going. And remember, be careful out there. 98% of people are caused by accident. Thanks, Joe. Love you guys. Have a safe Christmas. Talk to you very soon. Bye. Ka kite anō.
Bye.
Bye.